is. I think the best way to maintain our enthusiasm on our study is to realize that our study will contribute a lot in the field of discipline. For example, isinabi mo na ang study mo ay the assessment of the learning competencies in English and different macro skills. For example lang naman, saan ka makakapag-contribute? Minsan kasi nakikita natin ang laki ng ating research environment, right? Minsan nakikita natin napakalaki ng research environment ko, nakaka-discourage. But it should not cut your desire to do your study. Sa mga estudyante ko sa senior high school, lagi kong sinasabi na kapag may nagsabi sa inyo ng suggestion, always embrace it, reflect it. Dahil hindi lahat ng suggestion ay nagsasabing mali ka. Pero may mga suggestion na nagbubukas sa iyo ng opportunity para makita na tama din iyon at tama ka. And that's the spirit. So after this talk, siguro sa 200 participants dito, after a year, ilang research ang ating mapoproduce. Ayan, no? Ilang magiging plenary speaker for a research congress coming from your work. Enthusiasm. And lastly, the third is relevance. Relevance is the idea that your research will contribute to your area of specialization. As an educator, my specialization is focuses on research programs, research skills, research productivity, and research attitude. That has been the focus of my master's thesis and my doctoral dissertation. So technically, yun po ang aking interest. And then when I finish my project management certification, nadagdag yun sa aking interest because I find it relevant in the design of strategic management for the research offices in our cluster schools. So technically, relevance starts within the area of your specialization. Ako, bilib na bilib ako sa totoo lang. May personal biases ako eh. Bilib na bilib ako sa mga practical researches ng mga MAPE teachers, TLE teachers, the way they make things to materialize inside of their classroom is very novel. Yung kanilang paraan to address practical skills, no? In our school, there's a current research, no? Our TLE teachers studied the degree of competence of students and teachers in programming language, how the other affects the another. So technically, relevance. Saan mo huhugutin yung study mo? So the three important values, C, E, R. We have consistency, enthusiasm, and relevance. So in writing or in starting your research, one thing that we must understand is that it starts with our interests. Ano ang interests mo? First question is, ano ba ang currently na ginagawa mo? No? I'm not referring to you browsing your Facebook right now, but I'm asking you, ano ang interests mo? Ano ang ginagawa mo madalas sa loob ng paaralan, sa loob ng classroom, sa pakikitungo mo sa iyong mga estudyante? Your interest starts within your work/your environment. And of course, your area of specialization. So, in this lecture, I would like to focus on three important things. First is focus. Pag ako tinatanong ng mga advices ko, Sir, paano ako mag-start ng research? I'm asking them, what is your focus? Pag tinanong kita ngayon, at sinabi mo sa akin, gusto kong gumawa ng research, Sir. Tatanungin kita, ano ang focus mo? So, to understand our focus, we need to look on three important elements: our interests, our concerns, and our output. Pag tinanong kita, anong focus mo? Pwede mong isagot sa akin ito. Sir, I am a classroom teacher handling mathematics grade 7 and grade 8. Okay. Therefore, your focus is within that area of specialization. Next, when you say interest, it means your specific discipline, your nature of work, and your research environment. Then if you look at your concerns, this refers to the particular case in the workplace or in the discipline. These are your determinants that you want to explore or to measure. And lastly, the output. Ano bang gusto mong gawin? O yan, dami na nagpipicture. Ano? Bigyan ko rin kayo ng PowerPoint niyan. Okay? Don't worry. So, interest. Specific discipline. Sir, ano ang interest mo? Ako as a history teacher, ayan. My interest as a history teacher is the historical knowledge of the students. Interest. Ako as a math teacher, I would like to dwell on the concept of mathematical maturity among grade 10 students. Sa mga math teachers, have you heard the concept of mathematical maturity or numerical maturity? Ito yung idea na kung saan ang isang grade 10 student, pang anong grade na talaga siya pagdating sa math. Sometimes, malalaman natin when we explore this concept, yung grade 10 student ay may readiness lang na pang grade 5 pagdating sa math. And it happens. That's the reason why we have what we call learning gaps. Na kahit sabihin mo, ang galing-galing ng teacher dyan, ang dami pa rin average to below average. Baka hindi dahil sa teacher. Baka dahil yung readiness ng bata ay hindi pang grade 10 at masusolusyonan yon through an action research or by designing an appropriate strategy that will address the learning gaps or the readiness of the student. So magandang study yon. Interests. Now, let me show you an example. In writing your focus, remember that you need to think backward. Remember, ano bang gusto mong gawin? Anong gusto mong mangyari after this study? Then, think about on what should you have during the process. Think of what can help you build your problem or what can make you realize the importance of your problem. For example, yung recently concluded research namin sa school about the research productivity and the research skills. It shows that the research skills of the teachers influences research productivity by 17 to 19%. So technically, the research coordinator should design what? Should design programs to intensify these research skills. So, anong gusto mong mangyari at the end? Gusto kong umangat yung mathematical skills ng mga bata. Gusto kong mas maging magaling silang researcher. Gusto kong mas maging communicative sila pagdating sa mga English macro skills and the like. So, think of what can help you build your problem or what can make you realize the importance of the problem. For example, this is an example, no? I am a research director. I handle 3 schools, and my office focuses on 4 important areas: training of students and faculty, the conduct of instruction in teaching research as an integrated practice in science, English, and math, evaluate current school practices and stakeholders' engagement, and project management. Interest. I am a classroom teacher. I design assessment. I look on the attendance of my teachers. I am a subject area coordinator. I focuses on the professional growth of my teacher in the content areas. Diba? So you need to be specific on this. Now, another one is another example, I am a community and outreach coordinator. I design community plans in order to engage various stakeholders on different social and community activities, as well as to assure the continuity of community plans while objectively evaluating its impact to the recipients within the community. So you need to be what? To state who you are first, state your interest first, state ano ang madalas mong ginagawa. Then, what's next? After this, after interest, you can now write your concerns. And as we all know, in the concerns, dito lumalabas yung mga problems natin. So let me give an example. It is a particular case in the workplace or the discipline. It is a determinant or construct that you want to explore or to measure. So idudugtong lang natin siya dun sa interest natin kanina. So di ba ito yung interest natin kanina? So idugtong natin yung concern. Ayan, concern. The 3-year developmental plan of the department finished last January 2023. As research director, I am concerned about the quality of research experience that manifested among teachers of Arkham ES Cluster 3 schools. Among the critical areas of the research development plan is research publication and research dissemination. May problem na po bang sinasabi? Yes or no? Nagsisimula ng buksan ni researcher yung kanyang problem, yung kanyang concern. Now, let us be more specific about the concern. Let us be more specific about the concern. So, while the report of the research office contains an increasing trend on research publication among subject areas, the participation of the faculty researchers in the dissemination of the research was consistently poor to below average. In the instrument used by the PAASCU, one critical area that is affected by the research dissemination is the culture of research inside the school. So from a very big problem, you are going down to a more specific concern. And just like what you are doing in a thesis writing or a dissertation writing, you need to be specific on the problem that you are addressing, right? So, another example. Dito naman tayo dun sa kanina, yung sa community and outreach coordinator. So ito yung kanyang interest. So recently, the school's tulong-dunong kay IPE reached its 3rd year of implementation on the community of Barangay Pag-asa. The above-mentioned program assists grade 9 to grade 12 varsity students on their academics by providing them systematic learning scaffolds that allows them to cope with their missing lessons and puts them on track on their academics while still performing as an athlete. May concern po ba? May concern po bang nakalagay? Yes. Kasi sa loob ng 3 taon na gumagana yung tulong-dunong kay IPE program, same pa rin ang problem ng mga varsity students pagdating sa academics, despite the many scaffolds given by the teachers. Now, this year, it was observed that the academic performance of the varsity players are showing a downward trend. While their attendance on the tulong-dunong kay IPE were good and evident, their performance on the post-test of the scaffolds are not doing well, and their grades reflected on their report cards are lower than their previous grades. There is a problem. So as a faculty researcher, alam mo kung ano ang magiging direksyon ng study mo dahil sa unang bahagi pa lamang naging clear na ang iyong interest at ang iyong concern. Now, then, lastly, the output. Mahalaga ang output ng study. Every research goals to contribute in the expansion of knowledge in our own field of discipline, in the improvement of school practices. Therefore, what is this output all about? No? At para saan itong output na tinutukoy ng research? Hindi siya masagap. Ayan. So, research output is actually the culmination of the alignment from the research problem to the research objective to the data that you have collected. Hindi siya basta-basta ginagawa. Bakit? Tignan natin. The research problem and the research output should be connected through its research objectives. Dapat konektado siya. No? Dapat yung output ng study mo, reflection ng mga action na ginawa mo sa study because you are driven by your research objectives. Then, the actions that you will propose should show coherence with your research objectives, as we said. Since you set your research objectives, the actions that you are planning to propose should also show relevance. Another one is the assumption or the hypothesis. It's the A and the O factor. Bakit yan ang output mo? Ano ang sasabihin mo? Kasi gusto ko nito. Kasi gusto kong subukan kung may kaugnayan itong ganito. It's the A factor. It's the O factor. The assumption and the hypothesis are literally critical in the action of the researcher. Why? It serves the purpose. No? Pag tinanong ka, bakit itong gusto mong gawin? Kasi gusto kong malaman kung may ganito. And sometimes, without you knowing, ang binabanggit mo ay yung assumption mo o yung hypothesis mo. And of course, the data or the findings of the study. Consider this as the building blocks of your research output. Look at the strengths and weaknesses of your data. Understand that each high and low offers a particular opportunity and a challenge that must be addressed. Kaya pag gagawa ka ng action plan, di ba common term natin yan, ano ang action plan mo? Ano ang, minsan binabaliktad lang natin, ano ang plan of action mo? So technically, pag kayo po ay gagawa nun, balikan nyo ang high and low ng data nyo. Kung kayo ay nag-qualitative, balikan nyo yung mga nabuong narratives, explored categories, or themes. At doon kayo bumuo ng action. Why? Because the action plan should contain, or the research output should contain all the things that you have collected, that you have observed, that you have analyzed in your data. Now, since we are talking of data from the start of our conference here up to now, why is data integral in writing our study? Data is now considered as the world's most valuable asset. Everything that we are holding right now from our devices, it is being moved by data. At isang glitch dyan, kagulo ang mundo. Naalala nyo na nagkaroon ng glitch ang GCash? Di ba? Kahit walang laman ang GCash mo, concern na concern ka. Di ba? Kasi baka mamaya magkaroon pag na-fix. Di ba? Pero syempre, yung mga napakaraming laman ng GCash, syempre sila yung Biyernes Santo. Lalo't lalo na kung nalaman nila sa iba na may nabawasan, may nawala, and the like. Mahirap yan. We are all moving with data. The world's most valuable resource or asset is no longer oil. It's already data. No? Yung messenger mo, na may sarili kang GC. O, at kung sino-sino mga pinag-uusapan nyo. Pag nagkaroon ng glitch ang messenger at accidentally nailagay yung pinag-uusapan mo dun sa GC na private, kamusta ka kaya? Ano? So technically, no? Technically, we are all moving with data. Diba? Kanina, pagpasok ko dito, tama yung sabi ng ating SDS earlier, no? Hindi ko alam na JS Prom pala ito. No? Kasi nagulat ako, Diyos ko, sabi ko, parang inappropriate ata itong damit ko. Lang naman umuwi pa ako ng bahay. Tinignan mo yung katabi mo. Uy, ang ganda ng damit niya. Diba? O kaya naman, dahil wala kang magawa, binibilang mo ilang beses na nagsalita ng okay yung speaker. Diba? May mga estudyante tayong ganyan. No? We are all moving with data. May crush ka sa office, kaya ka nga pumapasok kasi nandun yung crush mo. O, tinitignan mo ano meron siya, ano gusto niya, and the like. Data. So technically, it's no longer oil. It's data. 97% of world resources depend on data right now. The building blocks of every effective paradigm shifts and policies is data. Trends, projections, regressions, no? Worthwhile lang siya kapag meron tayong data na sinasabi. No? Okay. So, in research and in the classroom, there are many data sources. Siguro kung may bagay na dapat nyong picturean at balak nyong gumawa ng research, isa sa mga advices ko lagi, dapat may knowledge ka kung anong data ang hahanapin mo. And I think this slide rather can help you, no? The data inside of the classroom. Bell work. Pwede tayong makakuha ng classroom data through our bell work or drills na tinatawag through pre-assessment forms. Another one, classwork o yung mga formative assessment natin o mga practice works, pwede rin tayong makakuha ng data from KWL charts, mini presentations or performance tasks, peer review, the sharing of understanding part, exit tickets or reflection, homeworks, practice works, and self-survey. These are original sources of data in the classroom. So kung ikaw ay nag-iisip na gumawa ng research, ayan. At lalo na kung ito'y classroom-based, yan po yung mga common na pinagkukuhaan natin ng datos. Then, another one, okay, saan ba dapat mag-click? Hindi nasasagap. Ayan. Why do we need to collect data? Ayan. Number one, there might be an existing problem. Halimbawa, no? Halimbawa, reading competencies. There's a research na ginagawa ng estudyante ko ngayon, no, sa university. Yung common errors, no, committed by foreign students enrolled in the area of grammar. Parang pinag-aaralan nila yung mga syntax and the like. So technically, there is an existing problem. Bakit? Kasi lumalabas na for the past 4 years na nagsimulang magpa-enroll ng mga foreign students ang university, pag may oral defense, hindi nakakasama ang mga foreign students. Nandun lang sila. Nakakapagsalita sila pero hindi nila ma-express yung sarili nila dahil hirap silang magsalita ng English. Unless siguro kung may interpreter silang bit. So technically, there is an existing problem. No? There is an existing problem. Another one, there is an underlying problem waiting to be uncovered. Ito experience to ng school namin. When we were visited by an accreditor, the research department was visited. Sabi nung research accreditor, impressive ang record ng school pagdating sa research local publications. Nung tinanong kami, How about research dissemination or research utilization? Wala kaming nasagot. Why? Maaaring yun ang problema. May mga research tayong ginagawa sa department, pero anong ginagawa natin after ma-present? Dapat nire-revisit natin yung existing practices at saan mailalapat yung mga results ng ating study. So yun ang recommendation sa amin. There is an underlying problem. There is an interest that you want to explore. For example, among history teachers, no? The use of primary resources versus reflective skills of students. Something like that, no? Then there is an assumption that you want to prove. Assumption. Or there's a hypothesis that you want to test. On our last publication, sinubukan naming aralin yung the job satisfaction and organizational support. Paano ito nakatulong during pandemic sa aming mga teachers? Kasi naniniwala kami, isa sa mga assumption ng study ay yung technical support na binibigay ng school sa mga teachers ay hindi sapat para matugunan yung job satisfaction na kinakailangan. Dapat may content knowledge support, dapat may, aside from technical, nandun dapat yung financial support. And those are critical areas of job satisfaction. So, meron kang gustong i-test na hypothesis. Now, then, in writing and action research, the main objective is to address existing organizational or instructional challenges. But, researchers, you need to know first data. Dapat, sabi nga nila, ang researcher ay lisensyadong marites. Ayan. Ang mga researcher ay mga lisensyadong marites. Hoy ha, nakikinig ka sa sinasabi ko, hindi nagre-research lang. Ayan. Diba? Hoy, ba't mo pinabasa yan? Hindi nagre-research lang ako. Ano ka ba? Huwag ka maingay. Ganyan. Data. It's nature. You need to know the nature of data. Mamaya may mga qualifiers tayo. Its source and its quality. So when we talk about the nature of data, you need to know recognizing data first. Number one, tanong mo sa sarili mo, ayan, will it be an exact data? Will it be specific? Will it be measurable? Then technically, your movement is going towards what? Quantitative study. Oh. Next. Ayan. Next. Will my data depend on lived experience or narratives? Interview ba dapat? Narratives ba dapat ang makuha ko? So technically, ang direksyon ng research mo ay patungong qualitative. But if you want to follow an existing data, dun ka palang magmi-mix method. Common concerns ng mga advices ko kapag gusto nilang mag-mix method. Ewan ko ha, laging ganito ang approach nila sa akin. Sir, lagyan natin ng interview question sa dulo. Bakit? Para mix method. Por Diyos, hindi ganun ang mix method, ha? Nagtataka ako lagi. Survey, no? Check. Tapos pagdating sa baba, may mga descriptive questions. What is, why, minsan pang Miss Universe pa yung question. What are the challenges of the teachers in this new normal? Explain your answer. Why? And then you found out, hindi siya sinasagutan ng mga respondents nyo. Bakit? Kasi yung tanong nyo, makakabuo na siya ng thesis abstract. Hindi ganun. Mixed method is not a hodgepodge method. Ano yun? Yung basta naisipan mo lang, pinaghalo-halo mo na. No, hindi ganun yun. Mixed method follows a pattern. May existing data ka. From that data, gumawa ka ng panibagong instrument o doon mo buuin ang konteksto ng susunod mong proseso. And that becomes mixed. Now, ngayon, what will be my research instrument is the last question that you will be asking yourself. The second is, after the nature of the data, kailangan nating malaman kung saan siya makiklik. Ayan, its source. Ayan. Where will be my research locale? Saan ang aking research environment? Who will be my respondents? The expert respondents. Kapag qualitative, minsan may tinutukoy silang expert respondents. Sino dito ang gearing towards qualitative? I love qualitative study. It's very real life. No? It's very naturalistic. Now, advice sa qualitative researchers natin. Yung mga naghahanap ng interviewee. Interviewee yung tinatanong, di ba? Ayan, interviewee. My advice is this. Minsan, tinatanong tayo, paano mo nalaman na expert itong respondents na to? If you will look at the literature of Yin in 2011, meron siyang sinabing strainer, or filter. It's like giving a batch of respondents a set of qualifiers na pasasagutan mo at pag binalik sa'yo, dun mo malalaman sino ang expert mong respondent. So that hindi lito-lito ang mga interview mo. Hindi kung ano-ano ang nasasabi sa interview mo. That's why in qualitative research, it's the biases ating tinitreat din. And I think that is one way to minimize the occurrence of researcher and respondents' biases. Okay? Now, then we also have what characteristics will be present among them and should be considered in my data collection. Parang yan yung question number 1 nyo lagi sa statement of the problem. What is the profile of the respondents? Di ba familiar kayo doon sa tanong na yun? Minsan nakakaloka kung ano-ano mga profile, ang lumalabas, sex, age, highest educational attainment, number of teaching loads, na minsan pag nag-reflect ka, wala namang kinalaman. Di ba? Papagurin mo lang yung statistician mo o papagurin mo lang yung sarili mong kakakumpit niyan. No? Kaya mahalaga ang review of related literature and studies. Nabibigyan ka ng heads up, hey, may pwede kang makitang opportunity sa variable na to. Hey, bayani ka, walang nagsabing ganyan. So technically, you need to ask yourself, what characteristics? Then lastly, it's quality. First, reliability versus validity. You know that. Naririnig nyo yan sa mga questionnaire sa quantitative, no? The Cronbach Alpha, the Cohen's tests, yan. Then, confirmability versus transferability, ito po'y madalas na na-encounter ng mga qualitative researchers. No? May mga confirmability biases, baka malay mo, ikaw lang pala naniniwala doon, tapos sinulat mo sa papel mo. Transferability is strengthened through thick description, according to Creswell. So you need to provide extensive time in reviewing existing literatures pagdating sa quali. And then we also have the methodological complementation versus integration. Ito naman po yung mga tanong na sinasagot natin kapag mixed method ang ating study. So ito yung sample common questions na na-encounter natin. Yung second column niya, yun yung type of data. And then the third column, anong data ang kailangan mo. So I think that's also one way that can guide us na kapag ganito yung question natin, ito yung mga common sources of data na nakukuha natin. So, level of parental involvement, pwede kang mag-survey, demographic, and the like. Now, the research objective. Ayan. The research objective pertains to the motivation or the drive of the researcher to contribute for the solution of an existing concern or problem. It's the energy that pushes you to do your research. No? The research objective. And when I'm asked, how many objectives, sir, sa research? O ano yung mga research objective na dapat mabigyan emphasis ng study namin? The first is, I think, from the literatures that I have collected, I synthesize it into three. In writing the research objectives, remember the three important objectives. The first objective is the to know objective. To know. What do you want to know? No? To explore or to measure something that you need to provide, something that you want to look for, something that you want to count, no? Then, to do. What do you want to accomplish at the end of the data analysis phase? And when you were able to provide such, then you can now write your research objective, which is very important. Now, let's go back to the example earlier. Diba ito yung example natin kanina? So the objectives, remember, it also influences your method. It will influence also your, dito na nga lang ako, your instrument. It will also influence your data. Now, in terms of our methodologies, when you want to measure a phenomenon, ito yung sinabi natin kanina. Quantitative, descriptive. When you want to understand the phenomenon, you have a qualitative. When you want to create and recreate the phenomenon, you can do an experimental. And then when you want to follow the phenomenon, you can do a mixed method study. So objectives. Remember this and do not forget. The objective can really shape the movement of your action as a researcher. It will really shape. It will actually influence the way you will look at your data, the need for data. So, ito yung example natin kanina. Hindi ko na yung babasahin. So, when you write your objective, to know, analyze the extent of research participation among faculty in the aspect of research collaboration and research utilization. O, diba? What do you want to measure or what do you want to prove? Examine the predictive value of research collaboration and research utilization and its impact to student achievement, faculty, and professional development. Diba? And then design appropriate competency-based coaching programs that may intensify the participation of faculty in internal and external collaboration. Those are objectives. Now, why start writing with this? It helps us in crafting our thesis statement. Look, this study titled, Insert the First Objective. Isn't it that's the thesis statement? The thesis statement that must find congruence, no, with the objective of the study. Then, after writing the thesis statement, your research objectives also influences your research design. Tingnan ninyo. Diba? Design, methodology, method. Hindi yan magkakapareho, ha? Huwag pa babalik-balik na rin. Kawawa naman yung chapter 3. Diba? The design focuses on the different traditions or practices or standard. The methodology or the span of strategies of a particular design or tradition. And then the method or the research instruments that you disseminate or give to your respondents. For example, the design is quantitative. According to Cohen, these are the span of strategies that is congruent to the design that you have selected, but not limited to survey methodology, experimental, quasi-experimental, correlational, or longitudinal studies. And then these are the method that you can use to collect your data. In the same manner, ito naman yung sa qualitative. Di ba? So we have the methodologies provided by Creswell: narrative, phenomenology, ethnography, grounded theory, and case study. In qualitative studies, you can do an interview, which can be a focus group discussion, and the like. But remember, in qualitative, meron tayong strict na pagsunod sa ethical standards. Remember? No? Okay. Then mixed method, explanatory design, we have exploratory design, and convergent design. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na hindi siya dinugtong lang. Pag sinabi mong explanatory, you start with quantitative, follow it with quali. Pag exploratory, you start with quali, then finish it with quanti. On the other hand, pwede din naman convergent, no? Sabay ang pagkolekta ng datos. And then you meet on a particular point, and that point is with the refers to your strategy in treating or interpreting your data. Then we have the action research, which follows a cyclical process. The research questions. The research question follows after your research objectives, because when you write your research objective, you already craft the direction of your study. And now we need to be very specific in writing our research questions. So for example, no? So in my practice, I use these 3 boxes. I don't call it the IPO, but I call it the input and the output box. The profile, what I'm going to measure, and then the output. Para nang sa gayon, ma-intensify ko yung alignment. Tignan ninyo. If the respondents are the faculty, I need to, from the literatures that I have collected, I can now say that these are the variables that I may be needing on my study. So the department, the highest education attainment, the research interest, the research participation scores. In our school, ang mga faculty researchers may kanya-kanyang mga class card. Nakalagay doon yung achievements nila at may scores sila sa bawat taon ini-evaluate yung mga scorecard. Yung highest, yung top 5, ito i-share ko yung practice namin para ma-maintain yung mga researchers. Yung top 5 namin, na top 5 researchers on that year, nakakatanggap sila ng additional 7,000 at the end of the year. Ayan. Pag nakapag-publish sila, additional 7,000 ulit. So that's our way to motivate our researchers. Alam ko hindi namin kayang tapatan, no, yung kayang ibigay ng ibang private school, pero nagsisimula kami sa ganun. Kaya meron kaming research scorecard. Then for the professional development, no? So the first box will refer to my first question. Di ba? What is the demographic profile of? From the scorecard of the faculty, what is the research participation score for academic year blank? Di ba? So, hindi ka nang hula ng specific questions. Hindi ka nang hula ng question na sasagutin mo sa iyong study. Next, yung box 2. How does research participation benefit the faculty researchers on the area of professional development in terms of content knowledge, personal motivation and commitment, innovation skills, diba? Now, pwede na tayo maglagay ng statistical inference. What is the extent of impact of research participation to the professional development of the faculty researchers? And then from that, you can now write your what? What output can be crafted from the results of the study. So you're done with your statement of the problem and your specific question. So wag niyong mamaliitin yung mga box na yun, no? At pag sinabi nating wag mamaliitin, wag kung ano-ano ang nilalagay doon sa mga box na yun. Ano? Baka sabihin niyo kasi, sabi ng speaker natin, maglagay ka lang ng box dyan. No? Yung mga box na yun, laman nun ang magiging problems of concerns ng study mo. So your research objective influences your research design. Gawin naman natin qualitative. So ang gagawin natin, gagawa tayo ng qualitative objectives para gawing qualitative yung quantitative kanina. So discover the narratives of experiences among faculty researchers in their pursuit of professional development. Di ba? Nag-iba yung tono. Bakit? Yung objective ang nag-set ng direction mo. Thus, kung ako pipiliin kong quantitative to, hindi na siya magiging align sa aking research objective. Tama? So, what do you want to explore? Analyze the narratives, the like. So, yung sabi nga ni Mustakas sa kanyang libro, pag qualitative, you can provide the grand tour of problem instead of writing specific questions. No? General problem, what are the narratives of experiences among faculty researchers in their pursuit of professional development? And that came also from the first objective that I presented to you earlier. No? Then the specific questions, what are the narratives of faculty researchers pertaining to research collaboration and research utilization? And lastly, what are the implications of these narratives towards the formation of their professional development as teachers and as lifelong learners? So from quantitative, na-translate natin siya going to qualitative. So as a process, a researcher may opt to consider the following. Ito naman is another advice, no? Kung mas sanay kayo magsulat ng objective muna and then ask yourself about a particular data, pwede niyong gamitin yan. Ito yung research case namin for historical knowledge. So a growing concern about the historical knowledge of students in school ABC was discovered by the AP teachers during the campus on-the-spot AP Trivia Challenge. Meron kasi kaming pinagagawa sa school na minsan, yung mga AP teachers, kapag break time, umikot-ikot sila. Tapos pag nag-abutan ka, bigla ka niyan tatanungin, huy, anong ibig sabihin ng gumbursa? Ayan. Mga on the spot, just to see the knowledge of the students. So, students from various grade levels were tapped to participate in a buzz Q&A during lunch break, dismissal time, and the library period. Only 22 of the 47 participants in the junior high school department and 15 in the elementary department recognized important personalities in Philippine history and events that involve Filipinos in local and international settings. The students were also asked about some festivals and local celebrations enjoyed by the Filipinos in a particular month. Nakakalungkot isipin, pero ito yung lumabas dun sa aming activity. So the research objective, yan. So ito yung aming research objective. As you can see, it is quantitative in nature because we want to measure the extent of historical knowledge. Then, data should be specific, test scores will be used, and the like. So the research problem, so same procedure earlier. Ito yung mga variables niya, no? And then from those variables, na-identify na namin, we can now create our research questions. Diba? So there is an alignment. So, then the statistical question is here. And then, okay. So another one, pwede mo naman siyang pagbaliktarin. Gusto mo magsimula sa data mo, tapos saka ka mag-define ng objectives, tapos saka ka magbigay ng specific problem. Pareho rin naman ang process. What I want you to bear in mind is that data is really building blocks of our research output. Ito naman ay research ng aming prefect of student sa discipline. Ayan. So, identify the reason of students in returning to FOL modality. So may mga ganun kaming kaso kasi sa school na from high flex, bumalik ng fully online. So, ito yung mga mineasure. What are the characteristics of the students? So we need to assure alignment. For researchers, remember. So I'm done with, remember this. Focus on your alignment. Do not commit the fallacy of methodology blindness that lured new researchers in the abyss of confusions and statistical errors. No? Sometimes our preoccupation about quality removes us from the quality that our research deserves. We need to see our research work working in a real-life setting. Say no to hodgepodge method. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. I'll always remember that our research objectives drives everything in your research. It is our first objective lens that can see through on the walls and blocks of our research. It drives everything from our research problems up to the method of our study. Researchers rather, please let us always be mindful on alignment, on consistency as we write our research, because uh, that's the criteria that we want to accomplish to assure that there is quality in what we are doing. So why research? We must act from knowledge consumer to information producer. As researchers, minsan nauuna yung pagkabilib natin sa sarili natin kesa sa contribution na nais nating ibigay sa ating society. It is our intellectual humility that matters. There are things that we already know that is really worth sharing. There are moments that we need to shut our mouth and open our ears and fill our minds with the wisdom from other people. There are opportunities so high enough that if we only listen and explore our profession, we can attain it for our students and for our future's future. Remember this and do not forget, for my most favorite research teacher in the National Teachers College, Dr. Clarito Mamorno, malangit nawa siya, research writing is an art. It is the extension of our academic life. With that, good morning and God bless us.
Alright, thank you, Sir Zaren Gadi. No, incredible. Now, thank you for sharing. Palakpakan naman natin si Sir. Definitely, you know already I think some of you are already brainstorming of research projects, new research projects in school. So special thanks, Sir Gadi, for sharing the importance of three things, no? Consistency, we have enthusiasm, and relevance. So in crafting high-impact research studies towards practically addressing the needs of our learners. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, let's take a moment to honor the outstanding contributions of our two distinguished plenary speakers to our 2023 Manila Research Congress by presenting them certificates of appreciation and recognition. Ayan. So let's welcome our Division Research Coordinator, Ms. Pauline Joanne Pascual, together with our DepEd officials to join us as we award our certificates to our distinguished set of
certificate first. Department of Education, National Capital Region, Division of City Schools, Manila. This certificate of recognition is proudly given to Dr. Rodolfo S. Treyes and Mr. Zaren A. Gadi, sir, for their extraordinary service and contributions as a guest speakers during the 2023 Manila Research Congress with the theme Rise Manileño Researcher, Onwards to Resilient, Innovative, Sustainable, and Empowered Research Culture committed to the Matatag Agenda held on June 8, 2023 at Diamond Hotel Rojas Boulevard, Manila, given the second day of June 2023. Signed by our Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Rita A. Riedel, CESO 5. Congratulations.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rodolfo Reyes. A round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. And of course, Mr. Zaren Gadi. A round of applause, please. All right, for our photo opportunity with our have it, ladies and gentlemen, our plenary speakers who have shared with us today, this morning, the important concepts on how we can integrate research in our daily work, in our schools and buildings. So we've had an amazing journey so far, exploring resilience, innovation, sustainability, and the empowering nature of our Manila research culture. Now let's dive into the next phase of our program, which will be conducted after lunch. No? Magla-lunch muna tayo. But before that, no, as stated in Division Memorandum 265 Series 2023, one of the main objectives of RISE Manileño Researcher, this year's 2023 Research Congress, is on showcasing and recognizing education research conducted towards strategically improving access, equity, quality, resiliency, and well-being, and of course, the enabling mechanism of governance. To accomplish these objectives, we will be moving to the parallel sessions after lunch, beginning at 1 p.m. and will last until 3 p.m. Now, here, we'll witness the culmination of countless hours of hard work and dedication as we present the research papers funded under the Basic Education Research Fund for 2020, 2021, and 2022. These papers represent the collective effort of passionate researchers aiming to advance education and the drive for positive change in our society. No? Our birth completers will be presenting in 15 minutes the research results and recommendations. Through of course, through the guidance of our distinguished facilitators and SDRC in charge, our presenters will be given a platform to share additional information and share best practices. These are the audience, like you, in each room, will also be given time to share their learnings and insights on how you can apply the results of the studies that you have witnessed in your respective schools. So in total, there will be 6 breakout rooms, each with an assigned panel of reactors. These are red, yellow, pink, blue, green, and orange. Now, you will know your grouping using the colors that are attached on your envelope. May kulay po dyan. Pakitaas nga po natin yung envelopes natin. Alam nyo na po kung saan kayo pupunta, anong color. Alright, now I'm thrilled to introduce to you our esteemed panel of reactors comprising distinct research experts and facilitators from SDO Manila. These exceptional individuals bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table, and their insights will further enrich our understanding of the research presented. So let's meet the team who will be part of your parallel sessions. Starting off with the red room. Wala bang tugtog? Maganda. Let's start with the red room. The Division Research Committee in charge, Dr. George Borromeo and Dr. Simon and Castells. A round of applause to raise our stage. And the facilitator, of course, from the red room, very good as well, Mr. Aaron Valentino. These are your panel of reactors at the red room. Sino po yung mga red? Taas yung card nyo. Ayan, alam nyo na red kayo. Next, thank you very much po. Stay lang po tayo dyan. From the yellow room, let's welcome Dr. Joy Fe Ancepa and Dr. Maria Teresa Chico. And the facilitator is, of course, Ms. Karen Verano. A round of applause, please. Yan. Libre po ang palakpak, ha? Yellow room. Parang Power Rangers lang. Let's now move on to the pink room. Of course, we have Dr. Paulo Adorio and Dr. Maricel Pasa together with our facilitator, Ms. Leia Yin. Very pink. Our Pink Ranger. Let's move on to the blue room. We have Dr. Remelinda Soriano and Miss Mary Girly Capiral, together with the facilitator, Miss Mary Antoinette Bunyan. A round of applause, please. And of course, we have the green room. We have Sir Joel Joniso and Ma'am Pauline Pascual, together with the facilitator, Mr. Melandro Santos. Yan. Si Sir Michael. Sir Michael Beso. Palakpak po tayo. Thank you. Yan. And of course, the last room, the sixth room, we have the orange room. Of course, we have our Division Research Evaluator, Mr. Renato Felipe, Miss Monalisa Pascual, and the facilitator, Miss Ana Teja. A round of applause. Yan. Napaka-colorful ng ating stage. So, different rooms. So, I hope you know already your respective rooms, because you will need to get ready for an engaging exchange of ideas and thought-provoking discussions. And as our panelists delve into the depths of the research papers that you will be witnessing, through their expert perspectives and critical analysis, we aim to foster a collaborative environment and inspire new avenues for research. So, once again, our distinguished panel of reactors, palakpakan po natin. Reactors, mga wow! Ano mga reactions? Like, mga bashers pala sila. Sila yung bashers mamaya. Of course, later, together with them will be the presenters, of course, the birth grantees. Please proceed later to the registration area to know where your respective rooms are, kung saan po kayo magpe-present. Once again, for birth grantees, birth presenters later, please proceed to our registration area so that you know which room you will be assigned to. Okay? And before anything else, reactors. Okay, so before we have our lunch, we have an intermission. Short intermission to celebrate one of our panel of reactors. No? This is some sort of despedida. A short despedida and short bidding of farewell to our facilitator from the Red Room, who's going to Australia under the Australian Awards. Palakpakan po natin, Mr. Aaron Tolentino. Ayan. So, thank you, Sir Aaron. Doon ka sa gitna. Let's observe her. Ayan. Parang ano na po ito, send off. Send off sa Red Room, pero send off na ron under.
Actually, I just want to take this opportunity to wish Aaron, our Senior Education Program Specialist, good luck in relation to his travel under Australia Award grant to University of Western Australia from June 14 to December 24, 2024. Yeah, good luck, everything. We hope that after a year and a half, we will still go with more enhanced knowledge and more things that you can share. So the implication of this, although we will memorize this one, is all programs being handled by Sir Aaron for the next 1.5 years will be handled by the people from the SGOD. So please take note that the Division Information Office, because we have a counterpart also in the school. The role of this is, of course, to synchronize all the releases that we have in the school and the division. There should be one person who will release the information para hindi po tayo nagkakagulo. No? So the Division Information Office officer will be handled temporarily for 1.5 years by Ms. Karen Berano. So all concern on the material will be addressed to Ms. Karen Berano. Ano ang pabaon mo kay Aaron para sa after 1.5 year merong pabalik sa'yo? For the Public Assistance Affairs, being the Division Public Assistance Affairs Coordinators, it will be handled by Miss Pauline Joan Pascual. Ito po yung mga nare-receive natin na hindi kagandahan. Mga 888, mga DTEX, etc. etc. Ano po? For the LGU-led programs activity, the different commemorations, it will be handled Mary Antoinette Bunyag. No? Especially yung ating outstanding search, DepEd, and we are going to translate and communicate that to our local government. No? And celebration of the different commemoration in which the participation of the SDO is needed and required. So Miss Ang will handle that. For the Brigada Escuela, the team, Miss Beth Nunez, and for the graduations, no, Sir Aaron, would you please turn over this to Miss Karen Verano? So yes, she will be the one to communicate with you to synchronize our schedule. So thank you very much again, Aaron. Good luck, and we hope that you will get the best out of your stay in Australia. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Sir Burr. And definitely thank you very much, Sir Aaron, for your good luck. Bon voyage. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, our panel of reactors, later, you will be with them as you dive deeper into the wonderful world of research and witness our birth grantees as they present their studies. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the parallel sessions will be conducted after lunch at 1 p.m. and will last until 3 p.m. So after 3 p.m. po, you will go back to our hall and we will be resuming the plenary session. Alright? So are there questions? If there are none, I guess our banquet is ready to serve you sumptuous lunch. I hope you enjoy and fill yourself up because later your minds will need the sugar or the sugar that you need. Okay, so without further ado, thank you very much. I guess we can proceed to the table, the banquet hall outside. Line up na lang po siguro carefully. Dalawa po yung ating area. So, of course, our principal sponsors, kasal lang. Our principal sponsors will be served their food. No. But for the rest, please indulge yourself at the See you later at 1